You know, global travel is absolutely booming right now. People are on the move. But there's something really strange happening here in the US. For so long, it was the world's dream destination, right? Now it's seeing this persistent, nagging decline in international visitors. It's a real puzzle, and in this explainer, we're going to try and solve it.
I mean, think about it. If you visit any major city today, things look pretty normal. The lights are on in Times Square, the lines for coffee are long, but just underneath that busy surface, something is fundamentally broken, and that's what we're going to uncover. What is really going on?
So where do we even start looking for answers? Well, the first clue, it's not where you'd expect. It's hidden away in the accountant's ledgers. See, the problem isn't about empty rooms, it's about empty revenue. Okay, so check this out, because this is where the mystery really starts to click. On the surface, hotels look full, but they're filled with domestic travelers, maybe on a tighter budget. The big spenders, what the industry calls whales, international tourists who drop thousands on hotels, shopping, dining, they're just gone. And their absence is creating this massive revenue black hole that affects the whole city.
And what happens then? Well, hotels go into full-on survival mode. They're slashing prices, sometimes by 20 or 30%, just to get people in the door. They're cutting staff, reducing services. And look, this isn't some sudden dramatic crash. It's more like a slow, silent erosion, a spiral where lower revenue leads to a worse experience, which, well, makes the whole destination less attractive.
So, if the big spenders have left, who are we talking about exactly? The most alarming signal, believe it or not, isn't coming from across an ocean. It's coming from right across our northern border.
Yeah, just look at that number. That is an astonishing drop in Canadian tourists. I mean, for decades, they were the absolute bedrock of U.S. tourism. They made up nearly a third of all international visitors. Their business was just a given, and now it's just a memory. And to really wrap your head around that number, this quote just nails it. It's like imagining the entire population of Oregon just deciding they're never coming to America again. We're talking about millions of visitors who are just gone. This is not a little dip. It's a major economic blow.
And this is the really crucial part. It's a psychological shift. For generations of Canadians, a trip to the US was the easy, default choice. It's what you did. But now, it's just one option among many. And here's the thing. When a default gets broken, it's incredibly easy to replace. They haven't stopped traveling, they've just gone somewhere else.
Now, the Canadian story is a huge warning sign, but they're not alone. It's actually a part of a much bigger global trend. And it all boils down to what we're calling the hassle factor, this toxic mix of things that are pushing tourists away. I mean, just put yourself in the shoes of an international traveler for a second. Before you even book a flight, you're staring down this checklist. Any one of these things on its own might not be a deal breaker, but when you add them all up, they create this powerful feeling that, you know what, it's just too much trouble. And that brings us to the biggest cost of all, one you will never, ever see on a bill. It's the psychological cost. It's the anxiety of waiting for a visa that might get denied, the stress of going through border security, that general feeling of maybe not being welcome, and more travelers are just deciding it's no longer worth it. But here's the thing about travel dollars. They never just disappear. They just get redirected. So as tourists find the US too difficult, they are flocking to new places, destinations that are racing to roll out the red carpet and make things as easy as possible. And this chart right here, it tells the whole story. While US bookings are way down, you've got destinations in Asia seeing huge double-digit growth. They're streamlining entry, they've got a reputation for incredible hospitality. See, the world hasn't stopped traveling, it's just choosing to go elsewhere. Let's be really clear about something. This is not a new problem. This isn't something that just happened overnight. Back in 1996, the US had about 17% of the global tourism market. By 2025, that fell to around 12%, and now it's shrunk to less than 5%. This isn't a blip, it's a systemic, 3-decade-long decline.
So the bottom line is, we've been losing a little bit of ground, day after day, for 30 years. We're just not the only must-see destination anymore. And when you make it difficult for tourists long enough, well, they learn to be happy without you.
But wait a minute, isn't the 2026 World Cup, the biggest sporting event on the planet, about to save the day? A lot of people are hoping it's the magic potion, but it could end up being a pretty bitter twist. We're facing a huge paradox here. We're about to host the world's biggest party inside what might be our weakest tourism system in modern history.
Instead of being a giant commercial for America, the World Cup could just put a global spotlight on all the reasons people stopped coming in the first place. I mean, really think about it. Is a month of soccer going to fix a broken visa system? Are fans going to overlook insane hotel prices just for the joy of the game? Can one big festival fix a system that's been rusting away for decades?
And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? If those underlying problems, the service, the cost, the feeling of being unwelcome, if those aren't addressed, then even the World Cup might just be a small Band-Aid on a much deeper wound. The American dream is still here, sure, but the world has endless choices now. Why should they choose ours?